Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a clever and curious fox named Freddy. Freddy the Fox had a beautiful bushy tail and bright shining eyes that twinkled every time he devised a clever plan. Freddy was known for his wit and charm, but he also had a persistent curiosity about the world around him. One sunny afternoon, as Freddy wandered through the woods, he stumbled upon a picturesque vineyard. The vineyard was filled with rows and rows of grapevines, with bunches of juicy grapes hanging plentifully from the branches. The plump, ripe grapes gleamed under the sunlight, looking as inviting as candies in a sweet shop. Freddy's mouth watered at the sight of the delicious grapes. Feeling a little hungry after his walk, he thought to himself, "Oh, those grapes look so sweet and juicy. I must have them for my afternoon snack." Determined to taste the grapes, Freddy hopped and jumped, trying his best to reach their tantalizing heights. But alas, no matter how high he jumped or how hard he tried, the grapes were just beyond his reach. He climbed onto a rock for a bit more elevation, but still, the grapes hanging from the highest branches teased him, dangling just out of his grasp. Exasperated and seeing no way to enjoy the tempting treat, Freddy eventually sat down beneath the vines with a huff. As he caught his breath, a little chipmunk named Chip happened to scurry by and noticed Freddy's predicament. "What seems to be the problem, Freddy?" Chip inquired in his squeaky voice, tilting his tiny head curiously. Freddy sighed and pointed to the dangling grapes. "I wanted to taste those grapes, but they're just too high up to reach." Chip chattered thoughtfully and said, "Why don't you ask some of the taller animals to give you a helping hand?" Freddy, with a sly smile, replied, "Oh, I don't think that will be necessary, Chip. You see, I've decided that those grapes are probably sour anyway. They're not worth the trouble." And with that, Freddy turned around, raising his nose proudly in the air, and strutted away, his dignity left intact. Chip watched him go, a knowing twinkle in his eye, understanding that Freddy's pride had gotten the better of his cravings. From that day on, the story of Freddy and the grapes became a legendary tale in the forest. The tale taught all the creatures about the importance of acknowledging one's limitations, and how sometimes it's easier to dismiss what we can't have as unworthy rather than admitting our own shortcomings. And every time Chip shared the story with his forest friends, it reminded them to think twice before calling the grapes sour. And so, life in the forest continued, with beautiful tales and important lessons weaving through the trees, as Freddy proudly remained content with his choice.